Welcome back to Free Play Arcade, the show where I find interesting games that you can play for free. I've been playing a lot of Celeste on my Nintendo Switch. Not since Super Meat Boy came out have I been so invested in a fast-paced precision platformer. But this isn't a video about the retail version of Celeste. This is about the prototype of Celeste that was made using the Pico-8 Fantasy Console. That's right, you can play the bare-bones version of Celeste, which inspired the full version of the game, and best of all, it is absolutely free. Just a heads up, the rest of this video is pretty heavy with footage of the Pico-8 version of Celeste, and it's not a very long game. If you don't want to see solutions to the individual rooms, I would stop this video right now. Celeste is a game where you play as a red-haired girl who is climbing a mountain, and while the retail game has a very interesting story that drives the reason behind the climb, this version of the game is much more about the climb itself. How high up this mountain can you climb? I'll tell you right now, for me, I made it 2,300 meters before I got stuck. But the challenge is certainly a part of the journey, and I wouldn't discount this game simply because I was unable to climb to the summit. How high can you climb? As I have mentioned in previous videos, the Pico-8 is a fantasy console with very strict limitations implemented in order to keep development simple and hopefully fun. An easy to demonstrate example is the color palette for Pico-8 games. There are 16 usable colors, which is the same as the potential colors you'd find in CGA. However, Pico-8 has a much nicer selection of colors and operates without the same limitations that an old 1980s era IBM would have concerning the number of colors that can be drawn on the screen at one time. Celeste keeps its collection of colors simple, opting instead to focus on the puzzle of the room. Each puzzle is one screen size in length, and the exit is always at the top of the screen. This is representative of the ever-constant climb upwards. The most common causes of death are spikes and pits, but the character immediately respawns and the puzzle is reset. Expect to die a lot. If you have played Celeste or Super Meat Boy before, you know what I mean by a lot. But for those of you who don't, while the basic control scheme for the retail version of Celeste includes wall grappling and climbing, this version does not. There is directional movement, jumping, and dashing. That's it. The character can dash once before becoming fatigued and will be unable to dash again until standing upon a flat surface. This is the cause of a great many of my character's deaths. The basic functions are extended by the addition of balloons, which recharge dash ability, and partway through the game, the dash is boosted to allow 2 dashes in the air rather than 1 before you fatigue. It was shortly after receiving this power that I became stuck and unable to progress. But I've seen what Matt Thorson and Noel Berry are capable of, so I'd imagine the second half of the game is no picnic. The addition of a second boost is just an opening to make the puzzles harder and more complex. Is the prototype of Celeste worth playing? The short answer is, I believe so, yes. In my mind, the longer answer comes down to 3 scenarios. You're either on the fence about purchasing the retail version of Celeste, you have been playing Celeste and want to know more about the development of the game, or you really don't like platformers, puzzle or otherwise, and you'd rather play something else. If you are the third kind of person, this is obviously not the game for you. But if you are either of the first 2 kinds of people, the Pico-8 version of Celeste will not disappoint.